You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Right now at 7, how one couple is turning their loss into a very precious donation.
Also, a Southeast Kansas teacher is being recognized with a state award.
All right, let's take a look at our forecast. Right now, we are all clear on radar. However, it is a little bit of a calm before the storm, but it's not going to be a big storm. We're looking at maybe some showers as we head into Monday morning. Of course, we'll have more details on that coming up in our forecast.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thanks for joining us on the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Kale Chapman. The state of Oklahoma carried out its first execution of the new year. Scott James Izember received a lethal injection last night at the Oklahoma State Penitentiary in McAllister. He was pronounced dead at 10:15 p.m. Izember was convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to death for the 2003 killing of A.J. Cantrell, as well as a conviction of second-degree murder for the killing of Patsy Cantrell. The state's Pardon and Parole Board voted 3-2 to reject a clemency recommendation. After the execution, several members of the Cantrell family spoke of the pain the family has endured and voiced concern at the length of time it took for Izember to be executed. Izember's execution was the 8th in Oklahoma since the state resumed executions in 2021. Authorities in Cyril, Oklahoma have arrested the caretaker of Athena Brownfield, a 4-year-old girl with autism who has been missing since Monday. Alyssa Adams was arrested on 2 complaints of child neglect. Police were notified Tuesday afternoon that Athena was missing after a postal carrier found her 5-year-old sister. The next day, several law enforcement response teams and volunteers completed a grid search of the entire town, including empty homes and local waterways. They even used search dogs and drones. That apparently provided no new information, and her whereabouts are still unknown. Missouri American Water is set to invest more than $425 million to upgrade water and wastewater systems this year. Joplin will see some of the upgrades with constructions of a new high-service pump station and upgrades to chemical feed equipment. Additionally, about 80 miles of pipe will be replaced in operations throughout the state. On Thursday, a couple of committees met to discuss water issues affecting Kansas and the region. Officers of the 14 regions of Kansas gathered in Parsons to discuss issues such as harmful algal blooms, sedimentation, and aquatic nuisance species such as zebra mussels. Another topic of concern was the dam in Coffeyville, Kansas.
That affects all of us that use fuel, and so that's how it spreads the impact to everyone. So if they're not able to pull enough water, or if the river flow is low enough that their intake pumps are not functioning properly, then they can become damaged, and then everybody that uses fuel would be paying for those damages.
The committees also discussed the impact of the drought. The committee will meet again next quarter. On Thursday, a Fayetteville, Arkansas couple made a precious donation to Freeman Health System. Michelle and Dusty Hurst donated a cuddle cot, a small portable chamber that stays cool to allow families dealing with the loss of a newborn to spend time with their baby at home. The Hursts made the donation after losing 2 newborns themselves.
For a family that's going through loss, don't let anyone tell you that how you're grieving is right or wrong. There is no right or wrong, and do what you need to do to help yourself. That's what I would say as encouragement to families.
Freeman Health System now has 2 cuddle cots for parents to use. A Southeast Kansas music teacher is being recognized with a state award. Alan Paxson has worked at Chetopa schools for 45 years, teaching music and directing the school's band and choir. On Thursday, he was surprised with an award from the Kansas Music Education Association, Outstanding Music Educator of the Year.
The thing that I would like for them to do is to have an appreciation of music, and something that could be a lifelong endeavor for them, that even if they don't participate in it, just that they have an appreciation for it.
Mr. Paxson also won this award in 2010. We go now to Skywatch weather.
All right, thank you very much, Cale. It's been a beautiful morning across the area as far as the clouds go and the cold temperatures. Radar is clear right now, and as we mentioned, the drought is still ongoing for a large segment of the state of Kansas. In fact, in our area, we're still seeing exceptional and extreme drought in southeastern Kansas and it's now starting to inch its way back into Missouri again. The only county that's really out of the drought right now is Berry County. But as we go through time, hopefully we'll start to see some rain in southeastern Kansas. But in the meantime, we're going to see cold temperatures. In fact, we were close to 60 36 hours ago. And since then, we've been on a downward slide to where we're seeing temperatures in the mid-20s. We are going to recover this afternoon, though. So if you're sending the kids out to school this morning, around 25 degrees. So they're definitely going to need a coat with northwesterly winds. Then as we go through the afternoon, we're going to see temperatures warming into the upper 30s. And by the time they head home, around 38 degrees with northwesterly winds and maybe a little bit of sunshine. If you're planning your day, this is what we're expecting. Chilly conditions today, especially with the clouds this morning. Maybe some sun by this afternoon, but we'll still stay in the 30s at both lunchtime and 5 o'clock. Then dropping down into the lower 30s by the time we head into the evening hours. Taking a look down the road, we're going to see a chilly Friday the 13th, and then a warmer weekend. And then we'll start to see some Monday showers and maybe some Wednesday thunderstorms. And of course, I have all the details on that coming up in our forecast in just a little bit. Okay.
Up next, with a combination of winter weather and cold and flu season wreaking havoc, we'll have how you can help stop a potential blood shortage in honor of Blood Donor Month.
And later, a game that went viral and gained popularity thanks to it being released on Android and Apple devices. We'll take a look at this viral hit known as Vampire Survivors. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Topping Health Watch this morning, the combination of winter weather and cold and flu season is wreaking havoc on blood supplies across the U.S. Mandy Gaither has more on how you can help stop a potential shortage in honor of National Blood Donor Month.
Every time the temperature dips, so does the number of people who donate blood, but the need remains the same.
We have already experienced widespread cancellations of blood drives because of the recent winter weather.
Dr. Bialaski with the American Red Cross says without those blood drives, they've lost the chance to get more than 10,000 units of blood. Still, 1 out of every 7 hospitalized patients will need a transfusion.
It really crosses the spectrum of every type of patient population who are absolutely dependent on blood and platelet transfusions for survival.
To avoid a blood shortage, the Red Cross is urging those who are eligible to roll up their sleeves.
We are always in need of O negative, which is the universal blood type, and O positive, which is nearly universal. We absolutely will welcome anybody who can come in to donate.
Even if you've recently gotten vaccinated, Lasky says there's no waiting period. You can donate anytime as long as you're healthy and feeling well.
About 40% of the population is eligible to donate, and only 3% do. So we're really asking people to come out, make an appointment to donate so that we can keep the supply strong.
Anyone interested in donating can make an appointment online at redcrossblood.org, on the Red Cross app, or you can call 1-800-RED-CROSS. And if you tune in Monday, we'll have how you can help donate blood locally with the Battle of the Badges Blood Drive.
All right, taking a look outside right now in Seneca, Missouri, things are looking pretty calm, but it's on the chilly side. I'll have a complete look at your forecast, including a look at the weekend when we come back. The video game Vampire Survivors, recently released for Android and Apple mobile devices, currently has 4.8 out of a 5 rating on both platforms. Rick Demagella has a look at the most popular game.
A video game that made the jump from computers and game consoles to mobile devices may be hard to put down.
Vampire Survivors is, and I have to apologize to everybody that's watching this right now because I'm going to tell you about it and you're going to play it. You're going to get addicted to it. You're not going to be able to put this damn game down. It's very, very addictive. It's a very interesting collection of ideas. You go on a run, what's called a run, and you try to get as far as you can on your run before you eventually die. And the game is really set up to make you die. It's almost like a classic arcade game, like a Robotron 2084 or a Smash TV. It's all kinds of demonic creatures, zombies and ghosts and bats and just things out to get you. So really the game is about avoiding the enemies as much as possible, collecting all of the power-up gems that they leave behind that get you to the next power level, which give you new weapons and new defensive abilities to let you try to last as long as you possibly can. This was made by a very, very small team. It shows, but the fun is still very, very evident with this title.
Trying really hard to level up in Hollywood, I'm Rick Damagello.
All right, let's take a look at the radar right now. We're looking at things all clear this morning. As yesterday morning we were dealing with the snow, but no snow today. Instead, we're dealing with cold temperatures, generally in the 20s across our area, 24 in Yates Center, also in Neodesha, 22 in Independence, 20 degrees right now in Sedan. A little bit warmer off to the east where they're 27 in Stockton and in Monette, but everyone is under those northerly winds. And we're about 5 to 10 degrees colder this morning than we were yesterday morning at this hour. And when you factor in that wind out of the north, we're looking at temperatures feeling like in the teens out there, so definitely bundle up. 12 is what it feels like right now in Independence. They were feeling like 9 last hour. 17 in Fort Scott, also in Lamar, Webb City, Neosho, pretty popular number. Feels warmer down in Bentonville, where it's currently feeling like only 20 degrees down there. Right now in Joplin, we're sitting at 26 under mostly cloudy skies. North wind at 9, so it makes it feel like 17 out there. Dew point's 21, humidity 81%, and the pressure is currently rising. Your forecast for today looks like this. Mostly fair skies with a few clouds and a little bit of sunshine by afternoon, but temperatures are still going to stay in the 30s for the most part today, maybe reaching into the lower 40s down in Oklahoma under the northerly winds. Then as we go through the nighttime hours, our winds are going to turn back around to the south, but we're still going to be chilly, but normal for this time of year. Lows in the mid-20s across the area. Then on Saturday afternoon, mostly cloudy skies with south winds, breezy conditions, and highs in the upper 50s, actually upper 40s to lower 50s across the area. Then Saturday night into Sunday morning, we're going to see lows generally in the upper 30s to around 40 degrees with winds out of the south. And those winds are really going to get cranking on Sunday afternoon out of the south. Breezy conditions with highs in the upper 50s to around 60 degrees, likely reaching into the 60s down in Oklahoma. Then Sunday night into Monday, that's when the moisture starts to increase across our area with scattered showers possible, with the lows generally in the 50s on Monday morning. And then if we take a look at the rainfall amounts, not really expecting a whole lot of rain from this, generally around a tenth or two, especially down to the south and east. Lighter amounts off towards the north and west, unfortunately for southeastern Kansas, as the drought is still going to hang on. Then as we head through the rest of the weekend, you can see those showers on Monday morning, a better chance of storms on Wednesday, maybe mixing over to some light snow on Thursday morning with a high of only 49 degrees. We'll have more news and weather when we return.
We take this time to honor today's four-state hero, Tech Sergeant Dalton Paxton. The Iola, Kansas native served in Japan as part of the 871st Airborne Aviation Battalion. To Tech Sergeant Dalton Paxton, we thank you, our four-state hero.
And an Iraq war veteran is teaching or working to teach 10,000 elementary school students just how to build bird feeders as a way to teach them some life skills.
John Lawrenson has this story.
At Webster Elementary School in Minneapolis.
You've heard that before? That's the robin.
The lesson for the day isn't about math or reading.
You're going to build one bird feeder.
It's about birds, in particular. Building bird feeders.
Some of them have never picked up a hammer and nails. Some of them can't identify 5 birds by name.
Veteran Carl Erickson is hoping to change that. He's with ALPUS, a nonprofit organization that helps at-risk youth gain tools for their future. A while back, Carl got the idea to teach 10,000 fourth graders how to build bird feeders. Webster is the 7th school his group has visited, and it doesn't cost the district a dime.
Because financial barriers for districts, for parents, not always the best thing. They don't always line up for having extracurricular things come into their schools.
But here, they do, thanks to a donation from the VFW and donated wood from local businesses.
I love it. I love to see the kids' faces. They're really, really, really happy at the end.
The hope is that projects like this and woodworking in general can become a life skill or even a hobby for these kids.
It was really fun.
They believe it's a win for the birds, a win for recycling, and a win for the students. At the end of the day, they learn that hard work pays off, and the bird feeders are theirs to keep.
I'm going to hang it up outside. Not outside, but by my window.
Kids want to do cool stuff, and they want to look forward to things. And if we can help them meet that expectation, it makes for a good school day.
That's pretty good. Carl and his group plan to visit 10 more schools in the Minneapolis area over the next couple of months, just in time for spring.
Heck yeah. Well, they say they're always looking for recycled wood for the projects. They also teach screen printing.
Interesting.
You ever screen print before?
It was probably like a long time ago in art class, but you know, we were talking during that story that woodworking is something I think I'd like to pick up at some point as a hobby.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Heck yeah.
All right. What do we got coming up next?
Well, when we come back, we'll do Shannon's Big Three stories.
Oh, good.
We'll take a look at all of those. And we'll
and of course, we're going to have weather as well, so we'll be back when we come back.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. It's currently 7:25. Kansas Governor Laura Kelly turns out did not have COVID. According to a release from her office, Kelly originally tested positive for COVID on Tuesday after experiencing cold-like symptoms. They said follow-up tests have all come back negative. The governor's doctor and experts at the State Department of Health and Environment determined that the original test was a false positive. Her office says the governor will return to working in person today. Authorities in Cyril, Oklahoma have arrested the caretaker of Athena Brownfield, a 4-year-old girl with autism who's been missing since Monday. Alyssa Adams was arrested on 2 complaints of child neglect. Police were notified Tuesday afternoon that Athena was missing after a postal carrier found her 5-year-old sister. The next day, several law enforcement response teams and volunteers completed a grid search of the entire town, including empty homes and local waterways. They even used search dogs and drones. Unfortunately, that provided no new information, and her whereabouts are still unknown. When it comes to children, parents always have safety concerns, especially around strangers and when kids are walking alone in the community. However, children with autism may face unique risks.
Hardest things as a professional and a parent is how to teach your children to be safe and not always speak with strangers. I think that's always the first rule of thumb, is that, you know, you have to teach your children to be leery and also to be aware that it's okay to talk to people, but don't just go up and talk to strangers.
For more information on Mosaic and the services they offer, you can check out their link on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. A Southeast Kansas music teacher is being recognized with a state award. Alan Paxson has worked at Chetopa schools for nearly 45 years, teaching music and directing the school's band and choir. On Thursday, he was surprised with an award from the Kansas Music Educators Association, Outstanding Music Educator of the Year. KOAM photojournalist Ty Parks was able to visit the ceremony.
I was involved in high school in music, choir and band, and my final year I got really involved, and I had an instructor that really did a lot with us, and so it kind of sparked me to want to go on and go into music education. I had a real strong love for music, and I like to share it, and I enjoy bringing what I can to the kids.
State Music Teacher of the Year in Kansas.
I first moved here to Chetopa. I was in 2nd grade, and he, of course, was my music teacher, and he continued on being my music teacher, and then my band teacher, and also my choir teacher, and I actually twirled for the band through high school. And some of my favorite memories of Mr. Paxton in high school was the trips we would go on and how much fun we would have and all the love that he had for music.
Mr. Paxton is incredible. He is a phenomenal teacher. He is calm, composed, but passionate. He never lets his frustrations show. He always finds a way to motivate students without seeming harsh or over the top. And he really pushes that love that he has for music into his students.
The thing that I would like for them to do is to have an appreciation of music, and something that could be a lifelong endeavor for them, even if they don't participate in it, just that they have an appreciation for it.
Mr. Paxson also won this award in 2010. On Thursday, a Fayetteville, Arkansas couple made a precious donation to Freeman Health System. Michelle and Dusty Hurst donated a cuddle cot, a small portable chamber that stays cool to allow families dealing with the loss of a newborn child spend time with their baby at home. The Hursts made the donation after losing 2 newborns themselves.
For a family that's going through loss, you know, don't let anyone tell you that how you're grieving is right or wrong. There is no right or wrong, and do what you need to do to help yourself. You know, that's what I would say as encouragement to families.
Freeman Health System now has 2 cuddle cots for parents to use. And this morning we're discussing the right to repair.
That's right. Getting your tech fixed often means going to a professional. However, COVID came along and shut down many of these businesses. Now, this didn't mean that consumers were stuck with just a broken screen or broken electronics. Companies began to send out and rent out tools, parts, and instructions to help customers so that they could repair their own devices.
Customers like this so much that states are even starting to enact new laws. This goes beyond just phones and wearables. It also applies to a deal recently made between farmers and John Deere. The company says they will help facilitate do-it-yourself repair in exchange for farmers not to pursue a right to repair law.
That's right. And so that brings us to our morning's question, and that is, should consumers have the right to repair? And I think the results have changed a little bit. Yep, 92% say yes and 8% say no.
Well, I think that's a pretty resounding yes from the 4 states so far.
Probably, and that 8% is probably some repairman themselves.
They might be, yeah.
All right, well, let's take a look at the forecast. It doesn't need any repair out there. We're seeing mostly fair skies this morning, clear on the radar, and that's going to be changing over the weekend. But first, we have to get through a pretty nice weekend, mild. However, the drought's going to be with us for a little bit longer. In fact, we're seeing drought still continuing for Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, even parts of the 4 states. If we zoom in, you can see exceptional and severe drought in southeastern Kansas, now starting to make its way back into southwestern Missouri because it's been dry. But we are going to see some rain chances in our forecast. Over the last 36 hours, though, we've seen temperatures drop from the 60s all the way down into the 30s and now into the 20s this morning. So we've been on a downward slide, but hopefully we're going to start to see temperatures warming up by this afternoon. If you're heading off to school this morning, it's going to be cold, so you'll need a jacket out there, 25 degrees if you head off to school. Then by the time you come home, we'll see partly cloudy skies with temperatures in the upper 30s, around 38 degrees with northwesterly winds. And if you're planning your day, we're going to be seeing chilly conditions this morning and this afternoon with mostly cloudy skies, maybe a few peaks of sun by afternoon, and a temperature of around 36 degrees at 5 o'clock, and then dropping down into the lower 30s and upper 20s by the time we head into the overnight hours. And if we take a look down the lane, we do have a chilly Friday the 13th up, and then we have a warmer weekend ahead, maybe some Monday showers and some rainfall, and then followed by some Wednesday thunderstorms. And of course, I'll have all the details on that coming up in your 7-day forecast when we return. So we'll be back with that in just a little bit.
Welcome back. It's time we close out our week with our own Shannon Becker and his Big 3 stories. Welcome back, Shannon.
Thank you. Welcome. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I've been able to dodge the bad luck that comes with Friday the 13th so far, so knock on wood for that one.
I'm not sure that's wood, but anyway.
It'll count for now. It'll count. Cover me for a little bit.
A lot of glue and stuff, and paint and wood chips. So, all right, let's take a look at the Big 3 this week. Top 3 live and breaking stories. We were there late Sunday night. Casey's General Store at Stone's Corner. An armed robber entered the store. There were about 6 people working at the time. Yeah, pretty scary. You can see right there, the gun, man, black male, walked in, demanded cash, and then walked out. Traveled south of the store, they believe got into a vehicle and traveled towards Webb City. About 45 minutes later, also by chance, a black male entered a store, a truck stop at Lamar called Lamarty's. Could be more than one person in the vehicle, not the same one that robbed both locations, but could be the same vehicle involved.
Gotcha.
You can check out more on our website, KOAM News Now. Number 2 story, would you like $2,000? Well, if you know this guy, $2,000, not a bad idea, right? He's wanted on felony DWI charges as a chronic DWI offender. Jeffrey Ramsey has been wanted by Jasper County Sheriff's Office for these active felony warrants. Call for more details. All information is kept confidential. Our number 1 story, last Friday morning, police canine, retired Lamar canine, Hondo was laid to rest, put to sleep, euthanize if you want to say it like that. He'd been in ill health the past year. He retired in June of 2021 after 9 years of service there in Barton County. It was a tough family decision. He'd become a family dog after that. But we were able to cover that story. It was really, there's such a brotherhood between canine officers, and that was what was really neat to experience. They came from Oklahoma, Kansas, and of course Missouri, and escorted them to the Carthage Animal Clinic. And our bonus story of the week, if you find yourself out of business, maybe it's because this is in your yard. This drug house is now closed to the public. That's the Bates County Sheriff's Office after a drug bust on Tuesday in Butler, Missouri. I tell you, that's bold. But he says that having a dope house like that, you offend the Missouri state statutes. Any room, building, or structure used for illegal manufacture, distribution, or storage of drugs, then it's a public nuisance. And so the public has to be alerted to that. So I do like that sign, though. I think that kind of helps everybody know what's going on in the neighborhood without any gossip. See, there's no gossip. There's
you
the
just
sign.
put it out there. Yeah, there's you no need to look out the window and be, I wonder what all those police.
Who are those? Who are all those people? Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
So the sheriff, he puts it up after they've served a search warrant for narcotics. And yes, there were 2 people detained, 1 person arrested and charged the other day. So
well, there you go.
That's your big 3 live and breaking stories, plus your bonus, which I always enjoy.
Heck yeah.
So it's fun. All right.
Always good to have a big 4.
All right. Have a good weekend. Good luck with your Friday the 13th, though.
Well, yeah. I'll hopefully survive the day.
Yeah.
But you never know.
All right.
All righty. Well, thanks for tuning in. We'll be right back with more news and weather.
All right, welcome back. We have a beautiful morning shaping up across the area. Cloudy skies, though, including down in Seneca, Missouri, the Indigo Sky Casino and Resort, but no precipitation falling out of those clouds. You can see that on radar. It's all clear this morning, unlike 24 hours ago where we were dealing with the snow. Instead, we're just dealing with the cold air this morning in place. But this is typical and normal for this time of year. 21 degrees in Sedan, 22 in Independence, as well as Nowata, 26 in Lamar and Carthage with those northerly winds. And we're about 5 to 10 degrees colder this morning than we were 24 hours ago. But like I said, it is January. It's expected to be cold. Although this morning it does feel like it's in the teens with the wind factored in. 15 in Fort Scott is what it feels like. 17 in Nevada. 17 also in Stockton as well as Webb City. 14 degrees is what it feels like right now in Nowata. You can see the cloudy skies here in Joplin, and we're sitting at 26 degrees, north wind at 9, so it feels like 17 right now. So bundle up out there. 21 degrees on the dew point, and the pressure is currently rising. The forecast for today, mostly fair skies, hopefully by this afternoon, but we'll still see temperatures in the 30s, maybe some 40s, especially down in Oklahoma way, with increasing clouds as we go through the evening hours, just here and there. And then as we go through the overnight hours, temperatures dropping down into the mid-20s once again, which is again normal for this time of year. Southerly winds across the area. Then as we go through the day on Saturday, clouds will increase, but highs should make it up into the low to mid 50s across our area, maybe upper 40s up to the north. Then on Saturday night into Sunday morning, lows won't be as chilly, generally in the 40s, maybe some upper 30s too, with breezy conditions. Then on Sunday afternoon, we're going to see temperatures rising into the mid to upper 50s, maybe even 60 degrees. And then Sunday night into Monday morning, we're going to see showers developing across our area, especially in the south and eastern sections, with temperatures in the mid-50s. Rainfall amounts are not expected to be all that impressive. Most of the rain is going to be down to the south and east, where they could pick up a couple of tenths. Further to the north and west, lighter amounts, barely hardly anything in the rain bucket up towards the north and west. And a look down the road, you can see that we're under the influence of northwesterly flow right now, keeping us cold. That will start to retreat as we go through the weekend. Milder conditions will start to move in on Saturday and Sunday. Here comes the next storm system rolling across our area Sunday night into Monday morning. And then once that moves away, we'll get a little bit chillier on Tuesday, but the mild air will start to return. In fact, here's a look at the next 7 days. We're expecting conditions to be pretty nice over the weekend with temperatures in the 50s and 60s, and then that chance of rain on Monday morning, better chance of rain on Wednesday, maybe switching over to some light snow on Thursday morning. Cale?
All right, well, thank you, Sam. In Consumer Watch this morning, a new study shows scientists with ExxonMobil accurately predicted global warming as far back as the 70s. According to a study published in the journal Science, this even though the oil giant was publicly contradicting its conclusions. The research funded by Exxon used more than a dozen different computer models that forecast global warming with precision equal to or better than that of the government and top academic climate scientists. The IRS just announced the start of the tax filing season. It's Monday, January 23rd. The agency expects over 168 million returns will be filed by this year's deadline on April 18th, 3 days after the usual April 15th deadline because of a holiday weekend. If you file electronically and expect a refund, the IRS says you should get a direct deposit within 21 days, barring any issues. And if you love working from home, those days could be numbered. A growing number of companies are demanding employees spend more time in the office. Walt Disney says employees must be in office 4 days a week starting in March, and Starbucks wants corporate workers in for at least 3 days a week beginning by the end of this month. For the first time in nearly 3 years, inflation has fallen on a monthly basis. This trend revealed in a key economic report out Thursday, which could make your next trips to the gas pump a little less painful. Isabella Rosales breaks it all down.
Today we've got some good news.
President Joe Biden touting progress on the economy.
Even though inflation is high in major economies around the world, it's coming down in America month after month.
As new data from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics released Thursday reveals a decline in month-over-month consumer prices for the first time since May 2020.
Over the past 3 months, core inflation has come down to 3% on an annualized basis. That's down from more than 6% at the beginning of 2022.
The December Consumer Price Index shows overall inflation decreasing by 0.1% from November. The costs of new and used vehicles, airline fares, and personal care items down. The overall decline largely attributed to the falling price of gas, dropping by 9%.
My administration took action to get oil onto the market and bring down prices. Now gas is down more than $1.70 from its peak.
But Greg McBride of Bankrate says those improvements aren't being seen across the board.
In addition to shelter costs, food costs continue to rise, electricity, vehicle insurance, even household supply, the type of things that you're buying on a regular basis.
The data also shows the cost of food, though still rising, grew at the smallest monthly rate in nearly 2 years. And while there could be a light at the end of the inflation tunnel, the economy still has a long way to go. In Washington, I'm Isabel Rosales.
This is the last inflation report out before the next meeting of the Fed on February 1st. The Fed is still weighing an increase to interest rates to aid in cooling the economy, but if actions they take are too aggressive, they could risk speeding up a recession. Bankrate's Greg McBride says 2 in 3 economists believes the U.S. will enter a recession in 2023, and as Wall Street is seeing some significant layoffs, the cyclical changes in financial sectors could be a harbinger for what could come in 2023. We'll be right back after this, but first let's take a look at the market prices before the opening bell. Every year, the Consumer Electronics Show gives us a look at the latest tech, the coolest gadgets, and the oddest inventions. This year's show wrapped up on Sunday.
Jeannie Moos has some of the highlights from that show.
It's the Consumer Electronics Show, but please no more e-pets. No more loony robotic pets like Luna.
Go grab it.
We'd rather grab the Ring Always Home camera.
Yeah, it's a camera that flies.
They demonstrated it at the show. The drone will fly around your house. Uh-oh, left the faucet running. It's expected to sell for about $250, but won't be widely available till next year. Good to freak out would-be burglars.
Yeah, that's not good.
Not to mention the dog. Seeing you in this might also scare the pooch. Mute Talk lets you mute yourself. Say, while gaming, so you're less of a disturbance. Yes. And then there's the SkyTed Silent Mask. Wear it when you don't want people around you to hear you.
This must remain confidential.
It's made of acoustic absorbing materials. If you find your own bodily functions absorbing, a French health tech company is developing U-Scan. Attach it inside the toilet bowl. Let it analyze your stream of health data.
You'll have to excuse me.
I'm going to go test it.
The senior editor of Engadget, Daniel Cooper, was #1 tester at the show. It's the next best thing to your analysis, delivered in minutes to an app on your phone.
Yeah, I have optimal water balance. I hope my mother's proud.
Even makeup has gone high-tech, from L'Oreal's smart lipstick applicator designed for beauty lovers with limited arm or hand mobility, to Brow Magic that lets you swipe a printer over your brows that uses cosmetic-grade ink to shape them. Or maybe you prefer being nibbled. This Japanese stuffed animal made its return to the electronics show.
Nibble, nibble, chomp, chomp.
It offers 24 nibbling patterns. It's finger-licking good. Good for nothing. Ginimos, CNN.
A gentle bite for a tender delight.
New York.
I don't know, Kale. Some of those things look pretty cool, but then other things, no thanks. No
yeah,
moss.
you know, they're interesting. A lot of innovation there, but I don't think I need my fingers nibbled on.
That's all I'm going to say about that. All right, let's take a look at the weather. We are experiencing some calm conditions this morning in comparison to yesterday. This morning at this time we were looking at snow bands, but this morning all clear on radar, and it's going to stay that way for most of the afternoon. We do have some clouds though. Cold temperatures though, 26 right now in Joplin, north wind at 9, so it makes it feel like it's 17 out there. Dew point's 21, the humidity 81%, and the pressure is currently rising. Taking a look at the forecast, we are expecting some sun to develop later on this afternoon, but temperatures are going to remain in the 30s for the most part. If you're down in Oklahoma, probably in the lower 40s down there. And then some clouds will be passing by later on this evening, and temperatures will be dropping down to about normal levels this time of year, mid-20s across the region. But notice our winds are going to be coming back around out of the south, which is a warmer direction, especially as we head towards the weekend. We're going to see temperatures jumping back up into the upper 40s to around 50 degrees for your Saturday. Then on Saturday night, we're going to see temperatures dropping down into the 30s and 40s across our area with southerly winds. And then on Sunday afternoon, we're going to see mostly cloudy skies with temperatures jumping into the upper 50s to around 60 degrees. And some of those winds could be a little bit strong on Sunday. Then as we move into Sunday night, Monday, that's when we have the chance of showers moving into our area with temperatures in the 50s. And rainfall amounts are not really expected to be all that great, generally around the 10th or less across our area. And over the next 7 days, we're going to be seeing temperatures warm over the weekend, and then showers on Monday, and then we start to cool off a little bit on Tuesday, more storms on Wednesday, maybe even a mixture on Thursday morning, and extending it out. We could see a winter storm as we head towards next weekend. Of course, I'll have all details on that in just a little bit. Cale?
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News here on Fox 14. This is what's happening today. A special counsel is now investigating President Biden's handling of classified material. Robert Hur, a former Trump-appointed U.S. attorney, was appointed by Attorney General Merrick Garland on Thursday. Hur will look into why documents from Mr. Biden's time as vice president were found at both his Delaware home and a former office in the past 2 months. Lisa Marie Presley died on Thursday after being rushed to a hospital in cardiac arrest. The only child of Elvis and Priscilla Presley was 54 years old. She was married 4 times, including to Michael Jackson and Nick Cage. Presley was last seen in public on Tuesday at the Golden Globes, where she saw Austin Butler win Best Actor for playing her father in the movie Elvis. A string of tornadoes thrashed on the south on Thursday, causing severe damage in at least 4 states and killing several people from central Alabama. Out west, the death toll continues to rise in California. Residents and officials used a break in weather to search for the missing and prepare for more rainfall. Evacuation orders are in place in Monterey County, south of San Jose, with heavy flooded expecting as the Salinas River rises. And today is Friday the 13th, a date that has a long history with being associated with bad luck.
That's right. In Philadelphia on this date, 13 men used to gather for the occasion and break mirrors, open umbrellas indoors, and walk under ladders. They also threw salt over their shoulders and let black cats cross their path. All actions, of course, designed to show that bad luck is just a myth.
The Friday the 13th Club in Philadelphia was inspired by founding father Benjamin Franklin, who also wanted to debunk all the nonsense about bad omens. Negative superstitions about the number 13 go back thousands of years to the time of Hammurabi of the Babylonian Empire. Even if you don't believe in the Friday the 13th curse, it's still never a good idea to walk under a ladder.
I wonder if that's because the Babylonians, everything was based on the number 12. So maybe 13, they just saw it as just bad luck.
Yeah, just a weird extra number. But yeah, I mean, be careful with those ladders. Walking under them is an OSHA violation.
That's right.
Don't do that.
That's right. You won't need the umbrella today indoors or even outdoors. We're going to see nice temperatures in the 30s, though, typical for this time of year.
Well, there you go. So thank you for letting us be part of your morning. We'll be back with more news and weather at noon.